So yesterday we started to talk about the topic of what needs to happen in America after we get new leadership, proper leadership, real leadership, and we get rid of this MAGA component, which makes absolutely no sense. So we talked about that. We began to talk about, we talked about special elections that need to take place. We talked about installing a new president, a new vice president, and the Republican Party after we impeached the MAGA element. Once all these things have happened, and we also started to talk about this, it's time to tax the wealthy. It's time. You know, after World War II, when we needed to reconstruct the country because of the ravages of war, the expenses of war, we raised taxes on the wealthiest 1%. And you know what happened? They didn't go broke. They did quite well, actually, even paying higher taxes. We need to adopt the Warren Buffett ideal that it doesn't make sense that he should pay a lower tax rate than is made. And remember those 89,000 IRS workers that Trump said they were going to send them out and tax everybody? The truth of that matter was that those 89,000 agents were going to be hired over the next 10 years to cover retirements or people getting sick or whatever. That was appropriation for those events. But what we need to do with them, in actuality, is we need to start auditing the wealthy. The Constitution says that everybody is supposed to pay taxes commensurate with their income. No more tax loopholes, no more breaks. 4.5 trillion, forget about it. Let's give it to the people. Let's put it into Medicaid. Let's put it into education where it belongs. What the people need is what's most important. We need to have solid schools and education. We need to have Medicaid for all because the healthcare industry and the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance industry are getting richer by the minute on us, who up to this point have been paying the weight of the wealthy in taxes to keep things going. Let's give people a break. Let's lower prices by stopping corporate price gouging. I just looked today, Arm & Hammer Pet Fresh for the carpet, $7.42. I used to pay $2 for that stuff. Corporate price gouging. Let's put an end to that. Hey, how about we know it's funny how wages have been stifled. The federal minimum wage of $7.50 came into play in the early 2000s. 20 years later, it's still here. It hasn't changed. But rents and so forth have gone up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Rents and everything have gone up. The minimum wage needs to be commensurate with inflation. That's how we're going to make it. We need to raise the federal minimum wage at this point, really, to $17 an hour. Some states have done that voluntarily, like Colorado. But the rest of the country has not followed suit as yet. So we need to raise it to at least 17, not even 15 anymore, 17. As well, we need to stop the corporate landlords from price gouging too. That's ridiculous. So we need to stop the corporate mess in food, healthcare, in fact, scrub health insurance because we should have Medicaid for all or Medicare for all. We need to forget about attacking the entitlement programs. We need to keep our hands off Social Security and Medicare. We need to do things for the people. We need to make it affordable for people to live in America, not struggle. I know people now that work 3 jobs and barely make it through. This is how you make America great. This is how we get out of this mess. Think about it.